Ethan Belcher's aunts had called Child Protective Services concerned about his safety in his parents' home.
And after running into roadblocks, getting answers about what CPS did to care for this child, we started asking questions about cases in the system. State revealed to Local 4 they've investigated hundreds of deaths of children who were involved with Michigan's child welfare system. Rod Maloney live tonight with the troubling numbers and the reaction. Rod.
Yeah, Devin, the state separates the child welfare system into three parts: foster care, child protective services, and adoption. They're required to report child deaths, and then those are supposed to be investigated. And what we found out is that while many of the cases of child deaths do not come from child abuse, the numbers of child deaths from suspected abuse are downright chilling. 5-year-old Ethan Belcher died 2 weeks ago. Prosecutors charged his parents Valerie Hamilton and stepfather Shane Shelton with felony murder and torture. It turns out, though, based on the Michigan Office of Children's Ombudsman numbers, Ethan's death is all too common. In its most recent annual reports, the OCO tells us state law requires Michigan child welfare agencies to report child deaths when there is prior involvement within 24 months preceding the death. Each case gets investigated. Between 2020 and 2021, the OCO received 741 preliminary death alerts, and most of those are not due to child abuse, they say. But the Ombudsman's office does tell Local 4, quote, child abuse and neglect was highly suspected in 135 of the 741 child deaths in 2020 and 2021, end quote. The disturbing math says in Michigan, one child died in or related to the child welfare system every 5 days. For some perspective, we turn to someone who deals with child welfare regularly, Claude Holloman, who directs the Genesee County nonprofit called Voices of Children.
It is horrifying. It's outrageous. It's a shock to the conscience. But what I recognize is that it's 135 kids, and we as a community have to do something. It's not just Child Protective Services. It's not just those of us who are working in the system.
Ethan's family did intervene, though, and he ended up removed from the home and then put back. State Senator Jim Runstead is furious after introducing a bill last week looking for more CPS transparency.
It's appalling. And what is so disheartening is that we can't get information. I would like to know in every single one of these cases what went wrong. Was there a catastrophic failure like there was in Ethan Belcher's case? We simply don't know. So we've got to really rip open this system.
Here's a statement from Susanna Shkreli, the Michigan Children Ombudsman. The death of Ethan Belcher is a tragedy, and my heart goes out to his family and friends. My office received notice of Ethan's death on January 22nd and has begun the investigative process. At the conclusion of the investigation, any recommendation for changes in the child welfare system are sent to the appropriate agencies and published for the public to view. End quote. Back to you.
So, Rod, the office says they will publish the recommendations. What about information about this specific case?
Well, that could end up in a report, and we won't necessarily have that for quite some time. But here's the thing. We put in a FOIA for this case, and they told us flat out that CPS is exempt from the Freedom of Information Act. And so Jim Runstead says that's what his bill is all about, changing that part of this system to make it public.
It has been so opaque for so long. Exactly right. All right, Rod.